Hello, this is TV1. I'm back again with another video. This time my reaction and review for Wrestlemania 31, guys. I can't believe it's on. It was on Sunday and today's probably Tuesday, so I'm probably going to upload this on a Tuesday. Of course, it was Wrestlemania 31 live from Santa Clara, California in San Francisco Bay Area in Levi's Stadium with its attendance of 76,976 people on March 29, 2015. And yeah, my initial opinions on this pay-per-view just after watching it, when I finished it yesterday, was that it was very, very enjoyable, and I think, if not better than WrestleMania 30. You can also leave your opinions below what you think of this one, but let's go in and talk about each match on the card. Okay, so I'll go through all the matches and then, talk about the main event, maybe at the end of the show. Okay, so I predicted a lot of these videos. So first match, which is sort of on the kick show, pre-show. If you wanted to give my opinion on that, it was a pretty enjoyable pre-show. I mean, it wasn't the most essential thing to watch. You could go fast forward through the 2 hours that it was on, but definitely on one of the second hour of the pre-show, we got two matches, which is pretty enjoyable. Our first one was Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, the tag team champions, defending the title against the New Day, Los Matadores, and the Usos. And as you can heard, I predicted the Tyson Kidd and Cesaro would change, which they did in that fatal four-way tag team match. Yeah, this one was pretty chaotic, and I loved it, actually. It was nice and kind of short and sweet. It started off, get the ball rolling, I love when they do this. And it was funny, so there was a lot of interference. We could definitely tell a lot of the tag teams were working together sort of in a weird way, but they all kind of hated each other at the same time, so it was a fun dynamic in that match. Definitely happy that Tyson Kidd and Cesaro won, but the interesting thing is the next match I'm talking about, pretty much all the people in this competed in that match, so it was a very kind of unusual booking there, because the next matchup was the 30-man Honor the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. And we see a lot of these guys, plus who I talked about in the my predictions video. So yeah, I predicted Damien Mizdow would win, but it was close. I actually thought I would get the prediction right. We were down to the final two people, and Damien Mizdow was eliminated by The Big Show. As you can expect, I was expecting maybe if Damien Mizdow didn't win, I was sort of thinking Plan B would be, Kane. And then I was thinking Big Show was also there, Ryback was kind of being pushed in this match. The interesting thing was there was a lot of dynamic. There was actually quite a good Battle Royale, because there was a lot of story actually shown in this one. And I definitely could see where they're going. So there was different stages of the story. And by the end you could definitely tell the Damien Mizdow and the Miz story was going on. And once we saw Big Show eliminating everyone, it was kind of felt like it was placed there. It felt right, because Big Show was the first time he won a Battle Royale, and so it would make sense for him to win after not winning last year and just being eliminated by Cesaro at the end. So it was actually quite a good one. And I don't know, I thought it would make more sense to build Damien Mizdow, as he sort of needs that. But I mean, he was shown in a positive light there, and he was given a good spot with the Big Show. So you can't really give out that much. I just kind of want to change that a little bit. So I predicted that wrong. So first match predicted right, second match I predicted wrong. Our third match was that Intercontinental Championship ladder match, and yes, I did predict Daniel Bryan win, and he did win. He defeated Bandies Barrett, the champion, R-Truth, Dean Ambrose, Luke Harper, Dolph Ziggler, and Stardust. Now, I felt like this was a pretty short match. It was 13 minutes long, and I don't know, I think I didn't really enjoy this match as much as the other matches on the card. I'm not sure why I didn't really enjoy this one. I think that it was very chaotic, and there wasn't much proper wrestling. Yeah, they definitely had a lot of brawling inside the ring, a lot of outside the ring, and some very memorable nasty shots, especially on Dean Ambrose going through that ladder, or the suplex Stardust off the ladder with Wade Barrett, and yeah, that was pretty amazing. And of course, it ended with Dolph Ziggler Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler on the ladder. He headbutts Dolph Ziggler and wins the Intercontinental Championship. I really liked that moment, and it definitely showed as one of those WrestleMania moments where he actually does it and gets to the top of the mountain. as they say. I mean, I love the sort of angle the WWE are going with the titles, trying to bring prestige back to them, and building new stars. So Daniel Bryan isn't really a new star, but he's being put back on the map here. I knew he would probably get a WrestleMania moment, and this is where it came in. So, he could bring a bit of prestige to the Intercontinental Championship and finally have a good reign, I hope. I've heard people say that they want a good reign for him, and yeah, of course, why would you not want him to have a good reign? So Daniel Bryan had a very memorable win there, and, it was a pretty damn good match, and no one felt buried again in that one. So, it worked well on the card, and I think that it was a surprising match in some ways of what happened, but it didn't go too much over the top with the whole ladder stuff. Sort of just focused on Daniel Bryan winning that one. In our fourth match, probably one of my favourites of the night. I don't know why I love this, but I love this match. It was a singles match, and it was Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins. Randy Orton defeats Seth Rollins, which I predicted. Seth Rollins alongside Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble. It ends up with Randy Orton going all demon, going all hardcore and amazing, like we all loved Randy Orton, and going out and Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble doing double DDTs and stuff like that. But the finish was definitely the most memorable part, where Randy Orton actually, Seth Rollins goes for the curb stomp, bounces in the air, and one of the best spots of the whole night, Randy Orton RKO's him and wins the match. It was a perfect finish to a pretty perfect match, in my opinion. And definitely these guys are two of my favourite workers in all of WWE. I never thought I'd say this. Randy Orton had a great match, and this is like his 12th match in a row in WrestleMania, and it's a pretty incredible streak there. Sort of like the Undertaker, but I know, not really like the Undertaker. Randy Orton had a great match, and Seth Rollins as the Money in the Bank holder, we sort of see him slink away, but we knew that I think some people thought that there was something else behind this, because you sort of knew he was there with the Money in the Bank. He had a plan really formulated, and definitely there was a story told here. And Randy Orton definitely took his anger out on the Authority there, and he showed his true side here, true colours, and it was great to see that. So that was another prediction I got right. So what is that, like 3 predictions out of 4? For the first 4 matches, I got 3 out of them right. So that was a pretty surprising for me, that. But it's WrestleMania, so a lot of stuff that you think happened does happen. Our 5th match of the night, it was quite, I think I pretty much predicted Sting with it, and this is a very surprising match, and a big match, and I thought it was going to be big. It was definitely made to be big. We had the whole DX and NWO come out. We got Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash, and we also got X-Pac, Billy Gunn, and Road Dogg, Jesse James come out. It was pretty amazing. Wow, we got all the crew coming out here, and it was amazing. Along with Shawn Michaels, and we ended up seeing Triple H win with a hammer. It was a pretty good match, and I thought that Sting had a great match. I enjoyed it, and he went for I felt like scorpion, whatever you call that, death thing, twice, and it was a good submission there. I'm pretty sure Triple H hit the pedigree at least once. The outside interference was kind of unexpected, and so this is where a lot of unexpected stuff started happening at WrestleMania. From the 5th match on, it got really, really good. Well, the first 4 matches were amazing, but the sort of big surprises came in the last, 5 matches. So yeah, we see Triple H go out and defeat the Sting, and I guess this means that Triple H is pretty much done with Sting in that whole storyline, and I'll talk about later where he's going to move on. And yes, in another segment, we actually get Triple H and Stephanie McMahon come out, and there's The Rock, and The Rock is coming out with a big ovation. He starts talking, and I think this is where Triple H whole feud rivalry is building up. We don't know. We could see them at SummerSlam. We could see them at next WrestleMania. A big time match approaching between Triple H and The Rock, and that would be pretty amazing. I mean, there's a big rivalry and a big sort of, a little bit of intensity between the two, and you can definitely tell there's something there. And then we see Rock get Ronda Rousey out and to attack the two, a UFC women's champion or something, and there was an amazing moment there, and she could do stuff like that, and it was fun. And The Rock definitely brought something to this segment, and Triple H comes out after winning a match, so he thought it was all smug and stuff, and then we see that happen. So yeah, in our next match we saw AJ Lee and Paige defeat the Bella Twins, and I predicted this, of course. They won. I think AJ Lee got a Black Widow on one of the Bellas. I think Nikki Bella or something on the Divas Champions. That was cool to see her go on the Divas Champion and just completely destroy her. Or was it Brie Bella? I'm not sure. But anyway, it just shows that she's a great wrestler, and she's pretty she's pretty like, I don't know. She's just 99% of the people she's put that on, she's won the match. So it's a good submission. So I predicted that right. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 6 correct so far. In our 7th match, we saw John Cena defeat Rusev, the champion, with Lana. And I sort of skipped through most of his match. I sort of went to the end of it because I was kind of bored with this one. I don't know, I just didn't really want to go through it all. I had a long day watching WrestleMania. And this one was sort of one where, I don't know, it was a very predictable ending, I thought. So I just sort of skipped through. And yes, John Cena did win. It was a sort of, I don't know, a cheap ending. I know, it was a good ending actually, sorry, because Rusev gets distracted by Lana, and then John Cena goes for the AA and wins. So yeah, it was good. It was a good finish. I would have thought that the SDF would be better, but it makes Rusev look strong just to be ended by an AA, in my opinion. And I guess a 1, 2, 3 count, and finally Rusev is defeated, and yes, a big moment as John Cena wins the United States Championship, and that's another title that can be brought a bit of prestige back to. I definitely think that this whole pay-per-view was like fixing problems that were already occurred in the WWE. So John Cena, he's now the United States Champion, and yeah, that's that. Okay, our 8th and penultimate match of the night was between Bray Wyatt and the Undertaker. I'm pretty sure I thought that Bray Wyatt would win, and I was dutifully surprised. I think as I watched this match, I saw the Undertaker come out, and he looked pretty better than last year, and he was sort of short hair. He was wearing some cool attire. And I definitely kind of changed my opinion halfway through this match. And I was like, okay, the Undertaker is probably going to do it. I mean, you could see throughout the match he was getting good spots. And Bray Wyatt looked like he was a bit fresher and better. Of course he was. But, the Undertaker is the Undertaker. And the Undertaker looked like he was formulating to his last finishing move. Just, mentally mulling over the whole finish he would do on Bray Wyatt. And I thought it was brilliant, like mind games. And a brilliant story being told here, and the crowd were on it. Yeah, they loved it, and the Undertaker did end up actually winning, so that was great with a tombstone pile driver, and it was great actually. He also got a few other finishers in there, and it was better than Brock Lesnar versus the Undertaker last year. I do sort of think. I don't think it was a great match in any way, really, but, it was a good moment for The Undertaker to win. It was kind of weird, though, because I've heard good mic work, a YouTuber I know, a channel I know, but he talked about how it was sort of sad that he won in a way that, his streak is gone, so it didn't mean as much anyway. And I did think that, but, I think so. People still remember it for him WrestleMania 31, actually seeing him defeat someone else. I think it was good for the fans in a sort of way. Maybe not good for his whole streak thing there. And Bray Wyatt didn't obviously get buried, so that was good. I think I probably would have preferred Bray Wyatt to win. I know that's so stupid to say, but in a way, I would love to see Undertaker win. But in another way, Bray Wyatt, he could have done it himself and win, and it would just be a major win for him. But that match definitely, it had a lot. Sorry, it had a lot in it, and for what it was pretty emotional, and they had to have that match in the card. It was a very looked for match. What's the word? Anticipated match. Sorry, but I actually didn't predict that right. So, right, and the next match was Seth Rollins versus Brock. No, sorry. I just spoiled it there, but you probably is all in the news. Yes, it was Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, and of course Seth Rollins cashes in at the very end. I actually heard the news before I watched WrestleMania 31, so it's sort of ruined it. I much prefer to watch it live. I mean, that would have made it a lot better, but things happen, and I had to sort of go and watch this. But anyway, I did sort of get it spoiled to me. checking on YouTube for a second. It was sort of my fault. But anyway, Seth Rollins actually captured the Money in the Bank just as Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. I think Brock Lesnar was going in. He was definitely dominating in a way. I actually kind of loved that match, and it was a very fast-paced, fluid finishing spree. You thought that it was going to be a little slower, a little more methodical, but really none of the matches on the card were that methodical. I definitely loved that whole idea. Roman Reigns could definitely work with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar could do made him look really, really strong as he was just tossing Roman Reigns around and being pretty undefeatable there. And then Seth Rollins comes in, the ultimate opportunist, just like Edge, and gets over a curb stomp on Roman Reigns, I think. No, sorry. I think, like, Brock Lesnar may have... Yeah, anyway, he does it on Roman Reigns, which is fun, because to do it on Roman Reigns just shows a lot for Seth Rollins, previous member of the Shield, of course. And yes, he does it. And he wins the championship. Just at the very end, it ended on a big high there, and I love that match. I love that finish, of course. I don't know, it might have been controversial, but I don't know. What I'm thinking of now is that was great finish. You can see the picture there. Seth Rollins happy with that championship, swinging it around. And Roman Reigns was made to look strong. Brock Lesnar was made to look strong. And none of them really got defeated in the whole thing. It was more of Seth Rollins came in and curb stomped the two. So it was sort of like a finish that was pretty understandable. And Seth Rollins does it. I mean, I thought I was going to cash in, and I sort of predicted that in my predictions just a little bit, but I'm not going to claim to myself that I know all that thing. But guys, that is it. That is WrestleMania 31. I will give it like a 9 out of 10, A or something. But it was great. It was great, and I actually love this WrestleMania. It was one of my favorites. I know I said that, like a lot of people said that last year, but I know I preferred this. And yeah, I think it built a great superstar in Seth Rollins. Let's hope that we don't see any problems occurring from that. And yeah, I may not watch Raw, but I'm kind of watching details of Raw. I won't talk about it in this one. I might talk about it in a future video. My next video will probably be my NXT review. And thank you guys so much for watching this. See you next time, and just tell me your opinions of WrestleMania 31 below. My favourite match was probably... Yeah, it's got to be the last match, the main event. Seth Rollins defeating Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman outside. Again, that was fun. All the people in it were amazing. They're on top class. Most of the wrestlers were just amazing. I mean, the singing was pretty dire, but let's not talk about that. Everything else was great. It was made to feel big and spectacular, like WrestleMania is meant to. See you guys next time.